Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship, Triple One here. Now in Forza Horizon 4, we have a vast array of cars in the game, ranging from three-wheelers built in the early 1900s to the electric cars of the future. Now within the car list, there are many cars which have been in multiple Forza titles, some have even been in every single title, and others have made their debut in Forza Horizon 4, like the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. But in today's video, we are going to wind the clock back by looking through the extensive car list that the entire Forza franchise has offered and take a look at 7 of the rarest and unique cars that were once in the franchise and maybe make its return someday in Forza Horizon 4 or a future Forza title. Starting off with number 1, the Lamborghini Miura concept. Appearing in 4 Forza titles, Forza Motorsport 2 to 4, and the first Forza Horizon, all on the Xbox 360, this is a concept car developed by Lamborghini, and it derived from the renowned 1960s Lamborghini Miura P400. Now, given that the car was built in 2006, it's obvious that it's not an exact copy of the original 1960s Miura, but instead it's a recreation with a modern take. For example, the engine is now powered by a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 directly from the Lamborghini Murcielago, producing 640 brake horsepower. That's nearly double the amount of power that was in the original Miura, and with 40 years of drivetrain development, the new concept now possesses all-wheel drive instead of rear-wheel drive, which means better acceleration and grip around corners. Aesthetically, the general shape has not swayed from the original as the concept pays homage to the P400, but things like the wheels, lights, interior have all been upgraded significantly from the original, making the car look contemporary but still recognizable to the classic. Will we ever see this car return to a future Forza title or even Forza Horizon 4? I doubt it, but it's always a pleasure when concept cars make its way into the Forza franchise. Number 2, the Mazda MX5 Superlight. Here is yet another concept car and was featured in Forza Motorsport 3 and 4, and also the original Forza Horizon, again all on the Xbox 360. This was built to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Mazda MX5s or Miatas, whatever you want to call them, and well, Mazda certainly went all out with their concept design. The philosophy behind this car was that the future of MX5s would become lighter, which is the opposite to what most models from different manufacturers were doing at that time, which of course caught the attention of many in the automotive world. With a chopped top, no windshield, and twin buttresses behind the seats, this certainly gave the Superlight a very unique look, especially for the MX5. Weighing just 995 kilograms from a car that was built in 2010, that was nearly unheard of, and it's all thanks to the extensive use of carbon fiber and a stripped out interior. While the car makes only 130 brake horsepower, it may not be the fastest car, but according to Mazda, it is certainly one of the most efficient. Number 3, the Joss JT1. Can you believe this is an Australian car? I certainly can't, and not only that, it's an Australian supercar, which was nearly unheard of. Well, this JT1 appeared in 3 Forza titles, Forza Motorsport 3 and 4, and also Forza Horizon. Built in 2010, this was a supercar that was literally built in the backyard of an Australian miner. It was designed to take on the likes of Ferrari, Porsche and Pagani, and also had its eyes set on the 24 hours of Le Mans. Now, I'm sure when many of us heard how big the targets were for this car, it was almost comedic. However, with an in-house built 6.8 litre naturally aspirated V8 mounted in the middle of the car, the JT1 produces around 500 brake horsepower, which certainly turned many laughters into curiosity. And since the Australian miner was also an aerodynamicist, each panel of the vehicle was created to satisfy 2 purposes, which was also unheard of. Also, remember how I said the Mazda MX5 Superlight was 995 kilograms? Well, this only weighed 940 kilograms, which meant 0 to 60 was achievable in just 2.9 seconds, but unfortunately due to the lack of fundings, this car was never made into production. Fingers crossed that a car so unique like this will return to Forza someday. Number 4, the Chrysler 412 concept. We are certainly winding the clock back for this one, last seen in Forza Motorsport 2 on the Xbox 360 and debuting in the original Forza Motorsport back on the very first Xbox. I'm curious where this car stands within the developers in Turn 10 and Playground Games, because this American-built supercar was a rare breed during the early 2000s, and even though this concept car never went into production, it certainly has the aura of finesse and refinement from a nation that predominantly built muscle cars at that time. Powered by a 6-litre V12 Mercedes engine, which could also be found in a Pagani Zonda C12, the Chrysler version just had one, or should I say 4 massive upgrades. It now includes 4 turbochargers, which increased the Chrysler's output from under 400 brake horsepower to a whopping 850 brake horsepower back in 2005. That's Hennessy Venom numbers of that time. 0 to 60 could be achieved in 2.8 seconds and reach a top speed of 248 miles per hour. Truly a remarkable concept car, and I genuinely wish that this car will be reincarnated with up-to-date graphics in Forza Horizon 4 or a future Forza title. Number 5, the Proto Motors Spirra. What on earth is this? I'm curious how many of you actually know this vehicle. Write yes if you do in the comment section below. But even for me, I no-lifed Forza Motorsport 2 back in the day, and I still don't even remember anything about this car. So Proto Motors is a South Korean sports car manufacturer, and the Spirra was essentially classed as an affordable supercar. Now, unlike the first 4 cars mentioned on this list, the Spirra, despite its lack of recognition worldwide, it's not a concept car. It is a car that went into production from the year 2008 through to 2017. Now, the one you see in Forza Motorsport 2, and only in this game, it is a prototype, and it's the first rendition of the Spirra, which was still owned by Proto Motors at the time, which was equipped with a 4.6-litre naturally aspirated V8 from my Ford Mustang, which produced a very modest 320 brake horsepower. Now, for a supercar, that does sound a little low, but 0 to 60 can apparently be reached in under 4 seconds and also reach a top speed of a claimed 180 miles per hour. To be very honest, I don't think this car will ever return. It's not a big enough car, name-wise, to bring this car back. Number 6, the Mazda Furai. Perhaps the most recognizable concept car, not just in the real world, but within the Forza franchise. Only ever seen in Forza Motorsport 3 and 4 on the Xbox 360. Yes, many of us Forza fans would love for this car to be resurrected into Forza Horizon 4 or a future Forza title because it's just so unique. This concept race car was built purely from carbon, and unlike many concept cars, this was fully functional, with many distinctive features such as pushrod suspensions, Mazda's infamous 2-litre naturally aspirated 3-rotor rotary engine running on pure ethanol. This beast was churning out 466 brake horsepower, which, okay, to some may not sound like much since we've become so desensitized with Koenigsegg Ageras and Bugatti Chirons, but the Furai had a curb weight of just 675 kilograms, which gave it an unbelievable acceleration speed, and combine it with its aerodynamics and lightness, it had phenomenal handling too. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end well for this concept car, as it was destroyed by Top Gear by catching on fire. Now, I'm not sure if another Furai will ever be built again, but given the car design and story, it's a car with a lot of character, and is certainly a car that we want back in the future. And number 7, the Devon GTX. Certainly a car that looks quite expressive, a concept car that has been in Forza Motorsport 3 and 4 and also the original Horizon. It's essentially a Dodge Viper but with more power. Now, will I say it looks better than a Viper? In my opinion, no. What do you guys think? Producing 650 brake horsepower from an 8.4 litre naturally aspirated V10, the reason that they designed the GTX is to create class from the past without overdoing it, introducing elegant lines that aren't necessarily compliant to what we usually see in cars built in 2010. The GTX is one of those extravagant cars that is simply in its own league. It doesn't really fit anywhere on the supercar spectrum, but one thing I can tell you is that it's very rare. Only 2 prototypes were ever built, and we have been lucky enough to experience it through the Forza franchise. Would you guys like to see this car return anytime soon? So there we have it, guys. 7 rare and unique cars that were once in Forza. Which cars would you like to see that were extremely rare in the entire franchise return to Forza Horizon 4 or potentially a Forza title in the near future? Make sure to write it down in the comment section below. I do read them. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button. That would really help me out. And also, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 4 content right here on this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.